Hello friends, is this new $60 concealer from Tom Ford really worthy of all the hype? Well, some people have been saying that this is the best concealer in the market for mature skin. Other people have been very hesitant to try it because of the high price. Now, I've been using it for a couple of weeks now, and so in this video I will be comparing it to 13 other cream concealers and concealer sticks that I have used in the past, and I will let you know what I think of it, and you can also look at the video footage to see what you think yourself. Now, cream concealers are a category of makeup that is especially important to me because that is one kind of product that I use just about every day. So when I was younger, I used to mostly use liquid foundation every day, but more recently what I have found is that liquid foundation seems to have a tendency to exacerbate the wrinkles that I have on my face, and that if I instead just use a small amount of cream concealer on a spot basis, that provides a look that is much more natural and also more flattering. So therefore, over the past couple years, I have tried out just about every cream concealer on the market that I could find that seemed like it would be appropriate for my own dry and sensitive skin. So let's talk a little bit about Tom Ford. Now, Tom Ford is a fashion designer, and he's also directed a couple of movies. And since 2004, he has had a line of makeup through Estee Lauder, and now Estee Lauder has also purchased all of the rest of the Tom Ford line of product. And I don't know how much he's involved in the makeup line, but the makeup line is certainly one of Estee Lauder's most expensive lines of makeup. And like most Estee Lauder lines, the products from Tom Ford, most of them do include ingredients that I consider to be problematic. So this new concealer from Tom Ford is called the Traceless Soft Matte Concealer, and it is available from the Tom Ford website, and it's available from Sephora, but so far at least it only seems to be available online. And in addition, it's available from Nordstrom, but I don't know how many stores actually have that concealer. That may be more online as well. So I think it's interesting that the Tom Ford website brings up the concept of the powders in the product so much, because that is one thing that I have noticed with this product, is that it has less of a greasy feeling like most of my concealers have, and it does have a little bit more of a powdery feeling, and that the powdery feeling doesn't seem to be one where the powders are exacerbating the wrinkles that are under my eyes. They more seem to be providing some blurring. Now, if we look at the ingredient list for this, the product does include BHT in it. So this is a fat preservative. I don't necessarily think that the BHT is an issue for me. Anyway, I have not found that products with BHT have been especially irritating to my skin, and I think it's a real trade-off because BHT could have skin irritation to it. I think that there's some evidence that there might be endocrine disruption with BHT, although it's a little bit uncertain. But also, rancid fats are not good for you at all, and probably worse than the BHT. So I don't necessarily feel that I'm not going to be using products that I see BHT in the label, but you may choose to do that. So as a comparison set, I've looked at all of the cream concealers that I have tried over the past couple years, including the ones that are cream pot concealers and cream stick concealers. Now, I'm not including any liquid concealers or soft cream concealers that are in like tubes that you squeeze out, but I'd like to do another video on that as well. Now, if we look at the absolute price of all of the products that I have been using, Tom Ford is really a quite high price compared to all of the others. So the only ones that are more expensive than that Tom Ford, the new concealer, is the Tom Ford Foundation Stick, which is a whopping $90, and also the Westman Atelier Foundation Stick. But both of those contain much more product. So now if we look at the cost per gram, it looks like this new foundation stick is not nearly as much of a splurge, because there are quite a few products, including ones that I have been using personally on a daily basis, that are actually more expensive than this one. So for me, my main issue that I have is redness and dark circles under my eyes, and those tend to be kind of diffuse. So I do tend to use a fair amount of the product, but if you have much more small areas of the face, then you could just dot it very carefully on those tiny little areas and then just blend those in. So this is a brush that Westman Atelier makes that is designed to just go in and cover tiny little spots on the face. And I think that if my issue were dark spots or acne spots, things like that, that I probably would use this in that way. So for the videos that I did of all 14 of these products, I filmed them over the period of a couple of days. I started out by moisturizing my face, and in this case I used either the Outset Daily Moisturizer or a new product from Rhode, which is Hailey Bieber's company, which is called the Barrier Cream. And I also put the Jones Road Eye Cream under my eyes. And then I dotted the concealer stick or the cream concealer on my face, and then I used a brush to buff it into the skin. And then after that, I put on a little bit of powder, and the powder that I used for all of the products was the Kosas powder in the shade Feathery. I do feel that pretty much all of these products have held up well for me, and I think that in terms of coverage, they all provide plenty of coverage. So the main issues that I've been really looking for is whether or not it makes my face look more wrinkled or exacerbates the wrinkles, whether the texture looks nice, and also what the color is. Now, in terms of the Tom Ford concealer, I've been really happy with that. Actually, I think that it does all of the things that the websites say that it's supposed to be doing. I feel that it's one of the more easygoing products, that I could just put it on my face regardless of even whether my face is very moisturized. I don't feel that I needed to use powder afterwards, and then it didn't look shiny, it didn't look greasy, and it really didn't emphasize my wrinkles very much at all, even when I put it right on top of the areas that are more wrinkled. I do feel that this product may have had a slight bit of annoyance to my skin more than some of the other products. So there are some products that I feel quite confident have not irritated my skin at all. This one seems to be a little bit more borderline, so I've been able to wear it, and I've been able to wear it all day, but sometimes after I put it on, I felt like there was very, very slight itching. So I would be a little hesitant to purchase this if I had super, super sensitive skin. But on the other hand, it is the case that Estee Lauder tends to be very, very good about taking things back, and that they will pay for the shipping back, and that Sephora will also take things back pretty readily if you bring it back within a month or so after purchase. Now, the real issue for me is that it seems to be quite difficult to figure out what color in this to purchase. So they do give color descriptions on the Sephora site. On the Tom Ford site, they give practically no information at all in terms of either providing good photos, there's no pictures of models, and there's really no good color descriptions. On the Sephora site, they've tried to provide some color descriptions, but there's still no real pictures of models. And the photos that they have, I'm not sure that they're trustworthy. So I just gave a shot at it myself. And amazingly, it turned out that I picked out a very good color for me that I think has worked really well, even though I'm not sure that the description of it should have suggested that this was actually the best color for me. So I think that overall I really like this concealer, and that I do want to keep using it and to see how it works out for me. I am a little bit dismayed by the fact that I think that sometimes it does make my skin itch a tiny little bit, but I don't think it's such a big problem that makes me want to give up on it right away. If that continues to happen, I kind of doubt I would buy it again. Whereas if it didn't have that issue, I think I would buy it again. It's kind of a no fuss, no muss pretty concealer that has worked well for me so far. So now let's go through all of the rest of the concealers that I have tried. So I'm going to start with the one that's the least expensive on a per gram basis, and then work up to the one that's the most expensive. So let's start first with the Salt New York Sneaky Balm. So, and which is $3.76 per gram, but that does not include any kind of case at all. So what this company does is that they're selling basically a palette concept. And you could also buy one of these little metal pans and then put it in your own individual palette of some kind. And this is available in 13 shades. I have the shade N10, but I think that that's probably a little too dark based on how it worked out. There's no warm or cool tones in this line. It's only light versus dark in terms of the colors that are offered. And I'm not sure that this shade is exactly right for me either. They have phenoxyethanol in them as a preservative, but other than that, the ingredients look pretty good, and they're these high-quality oils, including grapeseed oil, jojoba oil, and pomegranate oil. And in terms of the coverage, I think this is a little bit lighter coverage than many of these other products. She's describing it as medium coverage, and I think that that's probably accurate, that it's giving me plenty of coverage for my issues, but if you're really looking for true full coverage, it's not going to probably give you that. So I feel like if you're interested in this line and you want to try out numerous products from this in one of these little palettes, that this is an interesting product to try. So I think that this is a good value, and it's been fine for me. And if you're not reactive to phenoxyethanol, I think it's probably going to be a clean enough product for most people as well. And the next product that I will discuss is the Glossier Stretch Concealer, which is $4.17 per gram. And there are 12 shades of this. Again, all of the colors are just light and dark. They're not offering different undertones in it. This one, again, has phenoxyethanol, and it also has some artificial colors in it. But despite that, I feel that this has been quite nice on my skin. It hasn't caused any irritation. And I've been really surprised at how well it's worked for me, because most of the Glossier products really don't work for me. But there's a couple of them that have been really big hits. So I really like the Ultra Lips. I really like their liquid foundation as a silicone foundation goes. And I really like this concealer, which actually doesn't have any silicone in it at all. So I also like the fact that you can now go to Sephora and try out the product in the store so that you can get a good shade. I have a G10, which is light medium, and again, I think this has been a good shade for me, despite the fact that it's a little bit darker than my foundation shade. I haven't had any problems with it irritating my skin. I think it's been fine, and I tend not to use this because sort of irrationally I feel like I prefer a product that's in a stick rather than in a little pot like this. But every time I get this product out and try it out, I really am kind of impressed at how well it looks on my skin. So you can look at the video footage and see if you think it looks good. But I think that this is a product that I tend to overlook a little too much, and that I think that could certainly be worth considering for many people. And now the next product is one that's fairly high priced in terms of the absolute price, but that in terms of the price per gram is not all that bad at $5.78 per gram. So this is the Bobbi Brown Skin Foundation Stick. So it comes in a pretty large container, and it comes in 43 different shades. So I think that that is really terrific and a really positive reason for people doing well to maybe consider this product. So it is described as a medium to full foundation with buildable coverage that can also be used as a concealer. I think it's a little bit less thick on the skin than other kinds of concealers. It's very easy to put this on the skin and to get a thin coverage with it if you want to use it all over the whole skin. But if you want to build it up in a particular area, that's pretty easy too. This product does include a small amount of talc, and it also includes a small amount of silicone. Now, because it's in a stick formula, I don't consider the talc to be an issue. Now, some people can have skin that's irritated by talc. I have not found that to be the case at all, that talc in a cream product or even in a powder product has caused me irritation. But if you find that that's the case, then I would certainly avoid it. Or if you just have particular concerns about talc in general, then this would be one to avoid. This does have a little bit of silicone in it. It doesn't have a lot of silicone, but I think that silicone is actually probably helpful in this in terms of it allowing it to provide good coverage without exacerbating my wrinkles. I have not found that this stick is nearly as sticky or oily or kind of mattifying as many other sticks. It really just disappears into my skin pretty much as well as any other kind of stick that I have used. And I think that compared to the Tom Ford stick, it's a little bit more sheer, but you can build it up. But otherwise, I feel like the look that I'm getting from it is pretty good. Now, you can look at the video footage and see if you think it makes me look as good as the Tom Ford stick does. But I have been fairly happy with it. And I really like the fact that it has so many different shades and that they have different undertones. I also really like dealing with the Bobbi Brown Company because they have really terrific makeup artists on staff. And every time that I have asked them questions in terms of sending them photographs of myself and asking them to recommend colors, they have been super helpful and super on the money. So this particular shade is Warm Ivory, and I think that this has been a really good match for my skin, and it's kind of amazing because in the summer and in the winter it's been fine for both of those situations, and I really do like the way it looks. The unfortunate thing is that Sephora only stocks some of the shades in this product, so if you can get a really good match from Sephora, then by all means, that's great. If not, then I would consider going to the Bobbi Brown site and getting in touch with those people and asking them what you should get. And Bobbi Brown, they have been having a lot of sales recently, so if you wait a bit, you could probably get it for 20% off, 25% off, something like that, which brings it down to a pretty reasonable cost. Now, the next product is from Merit. So this is the Minimalist Perfecting Complexion Stick, which comes in 20 shades, and this came out I think 2021, something like that. So this product I think is probably the closest one to the Tom Ford that I have found. So it's a lot different than most cream concealers. It's less greasy. It has more of sort of a powdery look to it. It also has BHT in it like the Tom Ford product does. It's mostly synthetic ingredients. When this product was released, it was in this large tube, but you were getting a smaller amount of the product. So this is the original one in the release. And at that time, it would have cost about $10 per gram, which is on the high side compared to all of these other concealers. But over time, they got a lot of complaints about that, so they released it in a new tube, and you get 1.7 times as much product, but they're charging the same amount. So therefore, the price is a much more reasonable $5.85 per gram, which is pretty competitive, and which I think is a pretty good deal considering how well this product performs. I also feel like I have been using this product at least a few times a week for more than a year. And this is the version that's smaller. And look at how much I have left. So I really don't feel like it's very easy to use this up. And now you get 1.7 times as much. So I think that this is not a product that you can expect to be having to purchase very, very often. And I think it's kind of a good value now. The main issue that I think is a little bit problematic in this is that there's only these 20 shades. And I don't feel like there's necessarily a perfect color for me. The one that I have is Fair Warm. And I think that, again, that probably this is a match that's not perfect for my skin, but that if it were a liquid foundation, that the fair color would be appropriate, but that probably that something a little bit darker would be better for me. So I'm going to try, I think, the Ecru color, which they're describing as light with peach undertones. So I'm hoping that because the peach undertones is what I really need, that maybe this will work better if I blend it in. So I'm going to give that a try. And I have used this so often that I think it's worthwhile to try another color in this to see if it works out, because otherwise I think it would probably be my favorite product if I can get a good color match. This product is available at Sephora, so you should be able to go to a Sephora store and to swatch all the colors and see which one works best for you. And in general, I have been really happy with all of the Merrick products that I've tried. And I use all of them quite regularly. So as makeup companies go, I think this is one that I feel really good about. But it does have BHT in it, so if BHT is an issue for you, then this would be something that you would probably not want to consider. Now, this foundation stick from Tom Ford is something like $90, and it is kind of enormous. So because you get so much product in it, it's only $6 per gram, so this is not really more expensive than many of the other products out there. There's 35 shades, so you should be able to find a shade that's good for your skin tone, but again, they have such poor descriptions of the products and virtually no good photographs and no photographs of models, so that makes it very difficult to pick out a shade. I found that this product tends to be especially kind of heavy and oily and a little bit sticky. So I think it's really designed to give people a lot of coverage. And it doesn't have any silicones in it. It doesn't have any real problematic ingredients in it at all. So that part is good. But in terms of how it looks on my skin, I've never really been very happy with how it's looking or feeling on my skin. I feel like it's very hard to get a look with this that doesn't make me look really made up. And I do feel that I need to put powder on top of it in order to make it work, but I've read some people who have said that they thought that the secret to this product was to not use any powder in it, so I'm not quite sure what they're doing. This is one of the first makeup products that I purchased when I started to get back into makeup again. I purchased it online without trying it on. I have the shade Linen, which is 2.5, and this is stated as being light with the warm undertone. Maybe it's not too bad, but I think maybe one of the other shades could have been better. But it's really hard for me to tell. And it's 2 years old now. It doesn't have any preservatives in it at all, or at least not problematic preservatives. And I feel like it's starting to smell just a little bit rancid, so I'm getting to the point where I would be hesitant to use it even if it were working well for me, but I've really used it very rarely. So I wouldn't buy this again myself, but I do have a friend who has pore issues who says that this has been a helpful product for her and that she uses this either on its own or mixed with another foundation stick, and that it's provided good coverage for that for her. So obviously it must work for some people, and it doesn't have really bad reviews on Sephora, but this has not been a product that I've been very enthusiastic about myself. Now, the next product is from a company from California called Rituel de Fille. So this is a pot concealer. So it comes in this little compact, and it is available in 12 shades, and it costs $6.30 per gram. So Rituel de Fille is a company that I personally really like. The products use all natural ingredients, and they focus a lot on color cosmetics, and the colors in the products are all natural as well. And I think that, especially considering that their colors are really gorgeous. So I really do like their blush and their lipstick and their eyeshadows. So I'm very enthusiastic about the company from that perspective. These concealers, these were, I think, first created almost 10 years ago or so. And I think at the time when they released them, they were really unusual in the market, and that it was hard to get a product like this that didn't have a lot of really problematic ingredients. So I can see why they were really popular at the time and why a lot of people became really enthusiastic about them. There's only 12 shades. And the ingredients in them, they're very high quality. So for instance, the first ingredient is jojoba oil. They also have lanolin in them, which some people really like in terms of hydration, but which some people are reactive to. I wonder if I might be a little bit reactive to lanolin. I'm not sure about that. These smell like frankincense oil. So frankincense oil is not an ingredient that tends to be irritating to a lot of people, and I think it probably helps to preserve the product a little bit. So there's no synthetic colors in here at all. There's no synthetic ingredients of any kind. These people advised me to choose the shade Metis, which is now called Daphnis. And I think that this is a pretty good shade. It's described as a sandy, light, medium color. And I think that it's been fine in terms of the color, although I think it might have the potential to be a little peachy. That might work better on my skin, but in terms of having chosen the right shade, I do think that they told me the right shade to purchase. I haven't used this a whole lot. I think that it might actually be very slightly irritating to my skin, maybe because of the lanolin, but I'm not sure. It's a product that I wouldn't mind using if I didn't have another option, but I don't feel like I like nearly as much as some of the other products that I've been using on a regular basis. I think that probably when this was released almost a decade ago, or even 5 years ago, or even 3 years ago, that probably this was a very good product and that many people probably got a lot of use out of it. But now I think things have changed a little bit and the market has moved to the point where there's a lot of other good options out there. So a product that I think has been long a direct competitor to the Rituel Defeat product is this product from RMS, which is called the UnCoverup Concealer. So this is available in 16 shades, and it is $6.33 per gram, so it's almost exactly the same price as the Rituel Defeat one. Again, this product has all natural ingredients. This one includes coconut oil as the first ingredient. So if you have a problem with coconut oil, as some people do, then this would not be appropriate for everybody. On the other hand, this does not have any lanolin in it, and it doesn't have any essential oils of any kind. Now, on the positive side, if you don't like essential oils, then that could be a good thing. On the negative side, I do think that there's some potential for this to go rancid more quickly because it doesn't have any essential oils or any other kinds of preservatives in it. I've had it for about a year, and I haven't found that it's gone rancid at all so far, but I wouldn't be surprised if it did. And I think the shelf life is pretty short. It says 12 months, so that's not any worse than most other concealers. I have 2 shades in this. I have 11 and 11.5. 11 is supposed to be slightly golden, and that seems to work fairly well on my skin. 11.5, I feel like this shade looks kind of to me like a manila envelope, and I'm not even sure how to describe that shade. They describe it as kind of a buff shade, but that one I kind of don't feel like works as well for me. You can see what you think in the footage, whether you think either of these is ideal. I don't feel like this product for me has been irritating at all. I do think it has really high quality ingredients in it. But again, I haven't been real drawn to use this product because I tend to like stick concealers better than cream concealers, and also because I feel like some of the other products have been working so well for me that I feel like this one is a little bit of a step down to go back to it. But I do think that probably 5 years ago or even 3 years ago, this was really a top tier product, and that it's only because the clean beauty market has moved forward so quickly that it's not a product that I'm enthusiastic about using anymore. So the next product is from MAC, and it is called the MAC Studio Fix Correct and Conceal Palette. So this is supposed to be a professional makeup kit, and it contains 6 different shades of product, including 4 concealer shades and 2 color correcting shades. And they make several different versions of this product. So this is the one that's supposed to be for the lightest skin tones, and then there's ones that are for medium skin tones and dark skin tones. And if you take into consideration all of this product, it's $6.33 per gram. So obviously if you buy one of these and you're not going to be using all of the shades, then that would be more money per gram. But MAC does not sell any of these shades individually. They only sell them in these palettes. But I think that Potentially, for an individual, it could be useful because you get several different colors which you could use on different parts of your face or at different times of year, and they also have these color correcting shades. And I was mostly interested in this because of the color correcting shades, because this is the only cream concealers that MAC offers that are color correctors. And I do think that this pink one might not be too bad under my eyes, so I do want to spend a little bit more time using it for this. I think that in general, as a concealer for my face in general, that it does seem to emphasize the texture a bit more than I would like, so I don't really think that it's the best choice that I have in terms of using all of these different colors in different parts of my face in terms of being my regular concealer. But on the other hand, it doesn't emphasize my texture as much as some of the other products that I have tried, so I wouldn't entirely rule it out. And I think the fact that it does offer a variety of colors could be really appealing to some people. So I don't think this is my favorite product, and I kind of doubt that I'll get a lot of use out of this, but I think it was interesting to try, and that especially if you're not sure what color you want, or if you want to use a variety of colors, or if you're a professional makeup artist, then this could be a good product to keep in mind as a possibility. In terms of the ingredients, all MAC products have a lot of artificial colors in them, and this is no exception. Other than that, the ingredients look pretty good. This is one of those products that I feel might have been very slightly irritating to my skin and might have caused a little bit of itching, but it's been very sporadic, and I think that for most people this is probably going to be okay, and that even for me it doesn't seem to be something that would actually keep me from ever using it, though probably I wouldn't want to use it on a regular basis. Now the next one is a product that gets a lot of hype, and it is called the Westman Atelier Vital Skin Foundation and Concealer Stick, and this one has a fairly high absolute price of $68, which means that it's $7.56 per gram. And there are 21 shades, and I feel that for me it's performed pretty much the same as the Bobbi Brown stick, but I don't feel like for me it has performed as well, because for one thing there's fewer shades, so there's 21 shades, and I feel like most of the shades here are pretty much like a neutral to warm undertone, but that I don't feel like that I've gotten really an exact match in terms of the undertones. In addition, there's no silicones in this, and there's no talc, which seems like it could be good, but what I seem to have found is that there have been many times when I have put this on, especially if I put it on in this area here next to my eyes, and then I looked in the mirror or looked at a photograph of myself and felt like it was really exacerbating my wrinkles. And I think that's because it doesn't have any silicones in it, and so therefore if I'm going to wear this, I need to do it very judiciously and make sure that I don't put it on the parts of my face that are showing wrinkles. And that seems to get more and more difficult every day because the wrinkles in my face are getting a little bit worse every day. So therefore, it is not a product that I have used a lot. I've gotten some use out of it. At least I can see that I've used some of it, but I haven't been really drawn to use it as I've tried many other things, because I think other things are looking better on me. However, this does have very good ingredients. It actually seems to be kind of nourishing to the skin in terms of the ingredients that it does include. And I do think that it hasn't been irritating to my skin at all, so that has been a good thing. And I think that Westman Atelier is a nice company. I've tried a variety of products from them, and some of them have worked out really well for me. I'm kind of a fan of the owner of the company, whose name is Westman. I think she seems very sincere, and so that's a positive thing. But I kind of don't feel like I would purchase this stick again, because I don't feel like it is performing as well for me as some of the other products that I have really, really liked. And then right here would be the Tom Ford Concealer Stick, which is $8.57 per gram. So it's high, but it's not as high as some of these other products, including the next one, which is the Jones Road face pencils. So Jones Road is Bobbi Brown's new company. She left her namesake company in 2016, and she started Jones Road in 2020. In terms of the face pencils, it's interesting because for her foundation, which has gotten a lot of press, there's only 12 shades. But for the face pencil, she has 25 shades. She's charging $8.62 per gram for these pencils, or $25 each. And they're sharpenable, so again, when you sharpen them, you lose some of the cream from the pencil, but I don't sharpen them to a sharp point, so I don't lose quite as much as you might think. 4 of the shades of these pencils are color correctors. So number 6, number 11, number 13, and number 17, and they don't really tell you this up front. So if you are going to use these, you pretty much just have to stumble upon the information that they offer color correctors at all. But I actually think that number 6, which is the peachy color corrector for light skin, is my favorite makeup product of all. So that one works really well under my eyes, I think. I think that it is something that I can put on really fast and blend in, and then after that, if I put a little bit of regular concealer under my eyes, that it works much, much better in terms of covering up the darkness. So I think it would be better if they drew more attention to the fact that they actually offer these color correcting shades, because they do work very, very well. Now in this video, I didn't use the color correcting at all because I wanted it to be a fair comparison with all of the other products. So I am just using the color number 4, which is light with yellow undertones, number 8, which is light medium with neutral peachy undertones, and number 9, which is light medium with yellow undertones in the video. Whether or not they have been perfect for me, I really do think that they've worked very well. Supposedly they have a clear base in them so that they sort of meld into the skin more, and I'm not sure how many of these other concealers do that, but I do think that they tend to disappear into my skin quite well, and that I do look quite a lot better when I use them. And I have used these quite frequently, at least every day under my eyes, and the other pencils I've used at least several times a week, and I feel confident that they have not caused any irritation at all. And I do feel like they're worth the cost, and even though I haven't actually used one of these sticks up entirely yet, but I've gotten down to the point where some of them are almost used up. So it's not like they will last forever, but they last longer than you think because you're not using that much of it. Now, the next product is the one that I think has worked out the worst for me of all the ones that I've tried, and this is the Kjaer Weis Cream Foundation. So this is available in 15 shades, and it is sold as a refill, and then you have to buy a case separately. So the refill is $46, and then you can buy one of these paper sort of cases with, it's got kind of a plastic type, some kind of a coating on the outside of it for $8, or you can buy a metal case for $24. And if you have this red case on here, then the cost would be $9.31 per gram, which is pretty expensive, though still not the most expensive product that I have. I think that the metal case for this actually looks really gorgeous, so if I liked the product, then I would probably spring for that metal case, which is $24. But the red case is not too bad, except for the fact that there's no magnet in it. And so therefore, if I forget and I open it like this, then the tray of the foundation will just fall out on the floor. So I have to be a little careful about that. In terms of the ingredients, the first ingredients are mica and then almond oil. So almond oil sounds like it should be a good ingredient. Unfortunately, I feel that this product has irritated my skin more than any of the other cream concealers that I have tried, and to the point where I'm not willing to wear it at all. So I'm not sure why that is. This is supposed to be an organic product, and the ingredients are supposed to be pretty good, and it doesn't have any scent in it. So I'm not sure what it is about this product that is causing that irritation. One thing that I see on the ingredient list is that it has cornstarch in it, and while cornstarch is supposed to be organic here, it's possible that the cornstarch could be contaminated with mycotoxins maybe, or maybe the product is manufactured in a building that has problematic things. I'm not sure why that could be, but some things just irritate me, and I think there's a reason why, even if I can't figure out what that is from the ingredient list. So that's one issue. The second issue is that I really think that this product looks more powdery and more exacerbating of my wrinkles than any of the other products that I have tried. So I'm not sure, again, why that is, but this is a product that's been on the market for at least 5 years. So it may be that it's just not as good as some of the other products that have been released. But in any case, considering 1, the high cost, 2, the irritation in my face, and 3, how it makes my wrinkles look, it's not a product that I'm going to be using. In general, I haven't been very impressed with Kjaer Weis. I have a number of items of theirs. I have a mascara and an eye pencil left that I have yet to try, so I guess I should try that, but I'm almost ready to give up on this brand. I'm not that impressed with it. The color in this product that I have is 120, which is weightless. It's stating that it's for fair neutral. Again, I think that probably fair cream concealers are not ideal for me, and that this is a little bit too light. So I think that that could be part of the reason why my wrinkles are seeming to be more exacerbated, because it's acting as like a highlighter on those areas. But I don't think that's the only reason. I think it's also the texture of the product. And the next one is the Bare Minerals 16-Hour Full Coverage Concealer, which is this tiny little concealer. It is only $25, but it's a very small amount of product, so it turns out to be $10 per gram. I feel like this is probably in the process of being discontinued because it is no longer on Sephora or Ulta, and it is almost out of stock on Bare Minerals, so I don't know if they're reformulating it or just getting rid of it. There's been a number of people who have begged them not to discontinue this product in the comments, but there's not been any response from the company so far. There have been 14 shades. I have the shade Fair Light Warm 2, which seems to be okay for me. Maybe a darker color would be a little better. Lots of synthetic colors, but otherwise the ingredient list looks pretty good by EWG standards. I haven't found that this has been irritating to me at all. I feel like it's worked fine for me. I tend to forget about it, and I've only used it sporadically. It might be because the color is a little bit too light for me and not perfect. So, but in general, I'm not sure why I haven't used this more, but I do feel like I'm preferring the Merit and the Jones Road sticks and the Bobbi Brown foundation stick. So I think it looks okay on me though, so you can see what you think in the video footage. And I think this is another one of those products that a couple of years ago it was really unusual and special, and again now it's not quite so much anymore. And then finally, the product that is the most expensive in terms of a per gram basis is the Bobbi Brown concealer sticks. So these look like they're fairly large products because the container size is pretty big, and they're only $33, so they're not really expensive if you want to go and try it, but they give a very small amount of product in each stick, so it turns out that it's $11 per gram. So I've used up probably about half of this stick, and there's not that much product left, and I've also used up about half of a corrector stick. And despite the fact that they are expensive, I feel like I've really gotten my money's worth out of these products because I've really enjoyed using them and they've worked out really well for me. So they offer 12 different corrector shades, so some in peach, some in pink, and then a variety from light to dark. And then they offer 18 concealer shades. And so this one that I have is Warm Ivory, so it's very similar to the foundation stick that I have from Bobbi Brown, and I think that that's worked out really, really well for me as well. Now, these products were just released last year from Bobbi Brown, but I'm under the impression that they used to have a line of face sticks when Bobbi Brown herself was there, and that they were removed from the market. And then after Bobbi Brown was so successful with the face sticks at the Jones Road Company that they decided that it would be a good idea to bring these back out again. So I think these are probably, were originally pretty much developed by Bobbi Brown herself. And that is probably why I like them so much. These do have BHT in them, so if you're concerned about that, then this would not be a product that you might want to purchase. They also have phenoxyethanol and barium sulfate, which are additional preservatives. So again, if those are things that are problematic for you, then these would be ones to avoid. But I have not found them to cause any irritation in my skin at all. I seem to do fine with them. In terms of the corrector stick, I tend to alternate between the Jones Road sticks and this corrector stick, and I like both of them. I do really like the fact that this one doesn't have to be sharpened, but otherwise I think that they work pretty equally. In terms of the concealer sticks, I've used their concealer stick less often. I think that it might exacerbate the look of my wrinkles a tiny little bit, but it's not a major issue if so. I just feel like there's a lot more other products on the market that are competitors to it, so I don't need to use it as often. But I do think it's a good product, and I have gotten a lot of use out of it. So in general, after I've compared the Tom Ford product up close and detailed to all of these other products, I do like the way that it looks. I do think that it's at least as good as many of these other products in terms of how it looks on my face, and maybe it looks even better from what I can tell, so you can tell me if you agree with that. I think that the only reason that would keep me from using it on a regular basis in the future is that I do feel like it's very slightly irritating to my skin. But other than that, I do really like it. I don't feel like it's necessarily a lot better than some of these other products like the Jones Road product or the Merit product, but I do feel like it's a really good option, and that it's a little bit unusual in terms of how it performs, and especially in terms of not needing powder and in terms of going on really smoothly regardless of whether my face is on the dry side. After this whole experiment, I decided to buy that Merit stick in ochre, which is light with peach undertones, so I feel like this has all reinforced the fact that I do really like that product, so we'll see how it goes. I also like both the Bobbi Brown foundation stick and the Bobbi Brown concealer stick, so I'm going to continue using both of those a lot as well. But let me know which ones you think are best for me, because I have looked at myself in these videos so much now that I'm starting to get overwhelmed, and I'm not sure which ones look better and which ones look worse. So thank you very much for watching all the way to the end of the video. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, then I hope you will do that now. And thanks very much. And Coco and I love you very much. Goodbye.